It's time for the weekly sports page with the dynamic David Coleman. Stay tuned for thrills, chills, and yes, spills. Oh yeah, and a whole lot of other great stuff. Call 855-525-5683. Tweet your questions at Dynamic Sports PA or Facebook. Drop a line on Dynamic Weekly Sports Show. Sit back, relax, and groove while Dynamic drops sports in your ear hole.
Nebraska wins the game on the final play of the contest. Oh, baby! How about that? Jacked up indeed.
Are you kidding me?
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow!
Now here's Dynamic David Coleman.
Well, good Saturday morning to you. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. I'm here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on Joynet Radio and across the interweb. Now look, all you gotta do is go out there and Google the Weekly Sports Magazine. We're gonna pop it, okay? So you can catch me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So make sure you check it out, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, on all my posts, you will see the current sales going on for Coleman's Dynamic product. You can get some rib rub, some rib nuts, some rib juice, some fried dust, some pepper juice. Man, it's all in one convenient package. And you know what's coming up, right? Christmas. So you need to go ahead and order today. Don't order one, don't order two. Order as many as you need to make sure that everybody in the house is satisfied. And you can also go out and check them out on Coleman's Dynamic Products. But this offer is being given directly to you. Okay? So this offer is not on the website at all. So go out, click those links, buy today. Now, we got a great show lined up for you today. No ifs, ands, or buts about a lot of stuff to talk about. As you all can see, I'm sporting my little LRCH stuff, my Little Rock Central stuff. Shout out to them. Finally, after a long time, last week they broke a losing streak, 4 years. Can you believe that? In my wildest dreams, I would have never imagined that. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Matt Sluka. You may not have known it as of last week, but if you follow sports, you know it now. And it's something significant as it relates to college football. We'll also talk about Mercury Morris. Another great star passes away. I'll tell you why I just hated Mercury Morris, but he was a bad boy. And I'll tell you about all that here in a little bit. And also, we'll talk a little bit about the Cowboys, what's going on with that. NBA Media Days have started. There is a top 100 ranking of players, and guess who's at the top of the heap? Okay, so wow. We'll take a look at the college football playoffs. Well, I should say the college football top 25. And of course, Major League playoffs. That's where I was thinking playoffs, because they are solidifying, and we'll give you the updates on who's won what and who's still battling for that. The best time of the year, other than March Madness, is October, where all of these sports collide. You've got the NBA starting, you got the NHL, you got the Major League Baseball playoffs, and you've got college and pro. And of course, you got to throw in high school football as well. So that's what's going on today. We got a jam-packed show as always. And I forgot. We're also going to do the Coleman's Dynamic Power Picks. You know, we do those every week. And I'm proud to say I'm crowing a little bit today because, last week I was just down and depressed. But this week, hey, you know what the deal is, okay? So, by the way, before we do anything else, you know what we do every Saturday morning? We got to speak to everybody. So right here in the DMV area, so if you don't know what that means and you're listening in other parts of the country or the world, that means the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. All three of those states collide, and that's where this show emanates from every Saturday morning. So good morning to all my DMV doers. Appreciate you joining the show, and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Let's holler at Renee in right up the street, about an hour and a half. is Renee, homegirl out, Little Rock Central cheerleader, by the way. Yeah, I've known Nene since what? I don't know, 7th grade. So she's right up in York, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Renee, and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. My good buddy, Larry Ridley. There you go, in New York City. Well, right outside of New York, in New Jersey, CBX Sports. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. My girl, Allie McPherson. Mwah. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. She's in Annapolis, Maryland, as a matter of fact. So good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Jackie Williams in Charlotte, North Carolina. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. What am I doing? I can't forget about my fams. Yeah, Keely, Sonetta, Serenity, and G-Baby Justice. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Appreciate you joining the show. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's see where we're going. Stephanie in Atlanta. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I know what y'all saying. You said, man, why you all these women? I have a lot of women who listen to the show, and a lot of women that I grew up with, that we were tight. Don't hate, participate. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. My folks down in Florida, I know Helene went through and raised a little hell. I hope everybody down there, Ricky McClinton, I hope you're okay, man. Peanuts, Clifton Towns, hope y'all are okay down there. In fact, I need to send you a text and make sure y'all are okay. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Y'all hanging there, man. You know, I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't live in Florida. Hey, it's beautiful. I love it. I love going. There's certain places I'm just not gonna live. I just can't. You know, I was driving by the bay the other day and I was thinking, damn, I'm too close to the ocean. What if we have a tidal wave? I'm tripping. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be negative, but I live inland, so I'm not. I'm sorry, I think about crazy stuff like that. Well, get back to sports, David. Where was I? Oh, we were in Florida. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Let's say bon ton roulette, let the good times roll. All my friends down in Nowlands, good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Going up to Chi-Town and hollering at my baby girl, my favorite daughter. I love you so much. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. By the way, her name is Sierra Channing Athena Coleman. Okay. And you will hear from both of my children. You will. You will. You will. You will. Anyway. Let's go down to Cash Vegas. Oh, but no, let's go to Bowling Green, Kentucky and holler at my boy in the white. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. See, there's some guys in there. Y'all jumping to conclusions and crap. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine, okay? Appreciate you joining the show. Let's go to Cash Vegas. A place where I did 15 years of sports radio live on air. At WNSR, holla at my boy Greg Pogue and all my folks, Jason Hotep, all you folks that are still hanging out in Nashville, Tennessee State University, Howard Gentry, all the people, I love you guys so much. Appreciate you, all the support and love you continue to give me. Bud, I see you still on some of the posts that I make as well. Appreciate all of that stuff. Good morning and welcome. Oh, I can't forget about Vol Boy. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Appreciate you joining me. Going to Memphis where I got my start in radio. Good morning, all the people in Memphis at WHBQ. Right there in Memphis on 18th and Highland. Right around the corner from the University of Memphis, where I did a jazz show, believe it or not, right there. So good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Going out to Little Rock, my hometown, where I was born and bred, and of course shout out to the Little Rock Central High Tigers. Of course, played football for them, and I was telling you, it's kind of shocking that that they went 35 games in 4 years without winning a game, considering the fact that we were the pride of Little Rock back in the day. Of course, I played on one of those championship teams, and we were undefeated. Not to crow a little bit, but I was all state, all conference, and I was team captain. So I have a right to support this. Some of y'all don't know what this is, so represent Little Rock Central. Hell to the old gold, hell to the black, baby. Love you, no dust you lack, I'm gonna tell you. All right, so anyway, shout out to all the people in Little Rock, going down to the DFW area where most of the people in Little Rock moved there once they got out of high school. So all my folks from Little Rock that are in the DFW area, good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. And we're going down to Houston. Shout out to my friend Kenneth Muntz, who has been a bit under the weather in Houston. So I hope you feel better. I hope you're looking. I saw a post. You looking good, my brother. So you hang in there. Also, going down to my favorite city in Texas, San Antonio. Love San Antonio. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I was talking to somebody just today about should say yesterday, about how San Antonio. I don't really like going to Texas because there's not much greenery. I've been multiple times, but been to Houston, been to Dallas, but of all the places, I like San Antonio because it has a very nice ambiance compared to Dallas and Houston that just seem like I feel good this morning. I'm happy to be with you guys this morning. If ands or buts about it. So that was DFW. Dr. Rosie Milligan in Los Angeles, California. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. You too, Monica, in the hills out there, as well as going up to Northern California, to Edred and all of you guys. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. All right. So if I missed you, charge it to my head and not to my heart. You can give me a shout out. Tell me you want to give me you want me to give you a shout out on the show next week. I'll be glad to do that as well. You can also do that by hitting me up on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. I will get those messages. Okay, so where do we want to start? Well, let me just go ahead and start with Little Rock Central. I'm wearing this because they broke a losing streak for the last 4 years, and as I said earlier, it's a shock to me that school, but this is how things have changed. You go from being the king of the block to trying to climb back up the mountain, and it's been a long climb, but they are about to finish their new facility. The one thing I'm frustrated about in moving away from Little Rock, because we were putting together, or we were doing some of the games for Little Rock Central, all the home games. And the frustrating thing that ended up for me is that they were building the facility it was being proposed, and I had seen the drawings, but now part of the facility is already built. They've got to be careful about what they do to the stadium, because Central is they had to get permission from the National Register of Historic Places, because Little Rock Central is part of that list. It is on that list. So there are certain things you can and cannot do to the school in order to make sure that it stays with its natural architecture, which the school was built, I believe, around 1927. Of course, you all know the school, those of you who know a little bit about history, the historic Little Rock 9 in 1957. But it had changed a lot. It's considered now an inner city school, but it still puts out more graduates in any school in the state, as well as every year it is in the top school that puts out scholarships students as well. So proud of the school, so that's why I'm representing this. Okay, so you'll see this and you'll hear me reference Little Rock Central most of the day. All right. Now, a few other things I want to talk about today, and I'm going to get to the Matt Sluka conversation because that's going to take a little longer. So we'll probably start that after the break. I do want to talk a little bit about Mercury Morris. Mercury Morris was number 22 and he played for the Miami Dolphins. Okay, and those of you who know the Miami Dolphins, that was the only team to go undefeated. And there's always a unique story relating to that, because every year when the last team that was undefeated lost, those who were still alive at the time, they decided to have a toast. Okay? And one of those people was Mercury Morris, and it was always good to see him make the toast. You know, he played for the 72 Dolphin team. Let's see, Larry Zonka was on that team. Jim Kick was on that team. You know what? I can't even remember the name of the quarterback. Bob Greasy. How could I forget about that? Paul Warfield was on that squad, number 42. So yeah, hated that team with a passion, because here's the weird thing about it. So that was 72, right? So by that time I had already gotten into football a whole lot, and of course by then I was already a Raiders fan. Of course, y'all do know I'm a Raiders fan. I know you said I don't need your sympathy, okay? But I was already a Raiders fan, and I hated the Dolphins. And I couldn't understand why Mercury Morris, and I don't know, because they had other black players too, but I couldn't understand as a kid, because let's see, I was 61. So I was about 11 years old at the time, and I think I was already beginning to understand what racism was. And I didn't like Mercury Morris, not because he was black and he played for the Dolphins. I don't know why I channeled my anger towards Morris, and not understanding that I didn't really like Jim Kick either. I hated that y'all are not old enough, but those of you who are, y'all remember Jim Kick had the porn stash, you know. Larry Zonka was a big bruising back, but anyway, so Mercury Morris has died. By the way, some stats, he'll be remembered with his personality, his electric personality. 3,877 rushing yards, ranked 4th all-time in Dolphins franchise history. 29 touchdowns, ranked 5th, and his 2,947 kick return yards, ranked 3rd. Morris is still the only Dolphin to return more than 2 kicks for touchdowns. So that was Mercury Morris, and hats off to him, and may your passing and your travel to the next life be peaceful. Okay? So just wanted to mention Mercury Morris. Let's see how much time we got here. Okay, so we got a few more minutes. I'm going to cover a few more things. And by the way, the next hour we're going to do college and pro picks. And you're going to get my observations from last week as well. I may throw a little shade in there on Dion. I know y'all say I hate Dion, but, I just like real coaches. But anyway, we're also going to do the picks next hour. I'm going to crow a little bit because I actually had a good week. That's why you have to be in this thing. It's kind of like the stock market. You got to be in it for the long haul. And I made a huge comeback last week. So that's what that's all about. So Cowboys did survive on Thursday night. This team, I think, is in trouble. They have 2 players on offense. They have no running game whatsoever. Okay? That's it. That's it. Quarterback and receiver. Throw the ball to him, hand it off, whatever the case may be. That's not going to get it done, folks. That's not going to get it up. It's not. They are in trouble. And now, based on what we understand, Parsons is injured as well. Who else? And there are a couple of other guys who are injured on the Titans, on the Cowboys defense. So they were already having problems stopping the run, although they did a better job with the Giants. But still, who are the Giants? But they needed that win hugely, and they were able to get it. So good for them Thursday night. So we'll take a look at that later on in the show as well. Also, let's do I want to do that? I'm trying to decide, do I want to do the NBA Media Days top 10 real fast? That's what I'm trying to decide if I want to do that. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it because I found it interesting. Because NBA Media Days is up and running, and I just saw ranking every active number one overall pick in the NBA. Okay? So it goes all the way back and it ranks all of the number one picks and where they are today. And I thought this was pretty interesting. Okay? So you probably by now know who the top 10 is, right? Who's number one, right? You probably know that. But let me go back here. How far did they go back on this? I think they went back to the top 15. No, they went back to the top 12. So let's start in 2016, Ben Simmons. By the way, have you seen his tape? He's shooting threes in a gym. Yeah. All righty. Ben Simmons. Number 11 is DeAndre Ayton, 2018. Number 10, 2014, Andrew Wiggins. Number 9, 21, Cade Cunningham. Number 8, 2015, Karl Anthony Towns. Number 7, by the way, this boy's balling. In 2022, Paolo Banchero, dude's the real deal, man. I'm going to tell you, he's a bad boy. 2011, number 6 is Kyrie Irving. Number 5 is Zion Williamson, 2019. I don't know if I agree with that. Number 4, Victor Wembanyama, 23, just last year. Number 3 is Anthony Davis, 2012. Number 2 is Anthony Edwards in 2020. And of course, you know who number 1 is, right? The King. LeBron James, he's number 1. So they went back and ranked the top 12. I thought that was pretty neat. As we start thinking about a little NBA that's headed this way. Can LeBron continue to do what he does? That's just an amazing specimen of a human being. Plus, I'm going to send LeBron a gift box. It's something I've been planning for a long time. And every time I get ready to send it, I don't know why, I just don't. I don't want him to. And here's why I'm going to send it to him. Not because he's a great basketball player, because I'm not really a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron James fan. Okay? I'm a Philadelphia 76er fan. But what I'm trying to do is send a box to a man who has exhibited class and given back to their community. Okay? And LeBron James is the epitome of that. Although I'm a little worried about this Diddy thing, but we'll see how that plays out. But anyway, that's for Black Focus Radio. We're gonna do a show on that here in the next day or so because we got to talk about that as well. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna take our first break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Matthew Sluka and UNLV and give you my take on it. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com.
Hi, I'm David W. Coleman, host of Black Focus Radio and the Weekly Sports Magazine. We here at JoyNetRadio.com would like to thank you for all the love and support you've given us. Our goal is to keep you inspired and informed daily with quality programming from gospel music, news, talk, and sports. Log on to JoyNetRadio.com for the program lineup, and while there, be sure to make a donation. Then download our app and carry us anywhere in the world. Please continue to spread the word word about joinnetradio.com. And if you are an entrepreneur or have an upcoming event or you'd like to start a show, let the professional writers and producers here at joinnetradio.com help you get the word out. Call me at 615-554-0568 for more details. In the meantime, stay informed and inspired daily right here on joinnetradio.com.
David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and Rib Nuts. Go to ribrub.com, that's RIBBRUBB.com right now, and stock up on the best dry marinades for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats. 3 great flavors, hot and spicy, original, and scorching. Try them at your next cookout and you will shout, bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah! Only one place to get Coleman's Dynamic products, that's ribrub.com. Easy to order, and I'll ship direct to you or to friends and family anywhere in the United States. While on the site, be sure to check out other great items, especially the rib nuts. Who'd have thunk it? Peanuts sauteed in a barbecue marinade? That's just crazy good. Get them at ribrub.com right now, along with other great recipes. That's ribrub.com. If you don't like my rib rub or rib nuts, I'll give you money back. Do it today. That's Coleman's Dynamic Products at ribrub.com.
Listen.
Did you miss Dr. Ernest Gill from UT San Antonio?
When you're making $455 million off these student athletes and all you can come up with is $5,000, John Calipari makes $8 million a year, and his players are going to get $5,000 a year. The majority of these teams were white men and white males and females. Would this be happening? And I would say no, because their families wouldn't let it happen. But we're letting our kids get pimped.
Join the weekly sports magazine every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on joinnetradio.com.
Okay, welcome back to the weekly sports magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on joinnetradio.com. Don't forget to click on the links at the bottom of this show so you can make sure you stay abreast and get some of those gift boxes. Good sale right now, direct sale to you. They're not on the website, just direct sale to you. Go ahead and get those gift boxes. Let's get it rolling, folks. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about Matthew Sluka. You may have heard of him, you may not have. Certainly, if you follow sports, you've heard a lot of him as of late. Well, I say as of last week. Because Matthew Sluka was the starting quarterback for the University of Las Vegas. Now, you might say, well, Las Vegas, yeah, they are in the FBS, which is a division lower than what's going on, than the FCS. Okay? So, Matthew Sluka decided that he was going to leave and go and not play. He was a transfer from Holy Cross, graduated at Holy Cross, decided to transfer and go to the University of Las Vegas. The reason that he decided that he was going to go to Las Vegas, according to reports, Matthew Sluka was promised $100,000. Let me say that again. $100,000. That's according to his agent and according to him. UNLV told him that they're not going to pay that, and they had given him like $3,000 and basically, and I'm paraphrasing, gave him an ultimatum that you can take it or leave it. Now, Matthew Sluka, from what we understand and what statistics show, is not a bad quarterback. And he's thinking that, okay, you've lied to me. You said you're going to pay me $100,000. By the way, that's what they said because there's nothing in writing. This thing with NIL is still crazy. They're going to have to get their arms around this. But the fact of the matter is he decided not to play anymore because he didn't want to jeopardize his last red shirt season. So that means that Matthew Sluka potentially now can go somewhere else and be paid the money that a school is willing to pay him. Or I should say this NIL board that each school has set up. It's so nefarious and stupid. The NCAA needs to They really need to get their arms around this mess. So Sluka has decided that he wasn't going to play. He's done. Because the college rules are that you can play up to 3 games. If you play the 4th game, potentially you have burned your year of eligibility and you cannot redshirt. So Sluka is going to leave UNLV and hopefully is going to be recruited through the transfer portal by someone else that will pay him X amount of dollars, or the monies that he said that he wants. Now, here's the interesting thing about that, is that according to reports, again, I'm going through reports that I've read, and it's all in the media, that Sluka wanted to stay at UNLV, and he even said, hey, look, if you don't have the $100K, give me 50. Give me 50. And UNLV decided that, hey, you either take this $3,000, this is all you got. Now, we don't know right now who promised him this money. Because, see, there are no contracts. These schools will just say, we're going to give you this money. And the way they've got the rules set up is so crazy. I don't know. You have to go through this NIL board, and they pay the money. This is a group of people that they've appointed. I don't understand why it doesn't go just through the athletic department, just like the scholarships do. What you do, you go out and you say, okay, who's recruiting? Who wants to donate to the NIL fund? Okay? And that money goes to the colleges. And then that college can determine. Now, something just hit me. The colleges may not want to do that because you're talking about millions of extra dollars that people are going to be donating. All right? Or gifts, or whatever the case may be. Now, here's how it works. So say I'm the superstar athlete, and I want money. So that company will come to you and say, hey, look, if you come and appear with our group for X, do a commercial, whatever the case may be, we have an event, we need you to come sign autographs, they get paid for that, which is great. You know, I've been advocating for years that players ought to be paid. But the school literally has nothing to do with that. They are going on the promises of this NIL group to say that this player is going to be paid. And apparently someone promised this money to Matthew Sluka. They promised it to him. But because there are no contracts signed or anything along those lines, you're just going on someone's word. It's a handshake, wink, and a nod. And apparently these people reneged. These people being UNLV. They're trying to say that Matthew Sluka is just being greedy. He was never promised that. But yes, I don't believe UNLV. I'm just sorry. Now here's an interesting side note on that. Did you hear what I just said? UNLV. That's the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The two operative words in that is Las Vegas. Now, I don't know about you, but the last time I went to Las Vegas, it's some big ass buildings out there. And there's a whole lot of money floating around on the ground floor. And then, you know, I went to Las Vegas one year and then I went back the next year. One building that was used to be there was gone. And now it's another building. Now they got this thing called the Sphere. If you've seen it, it's magnificent architecture. You say, well, Dave, what's the point? Well, here's the point. You know, UNLV, they turn out more hospitality graduates than any other school in the country because you know what? They're furnishing those hotels with employees. Hello? So you mean to tell me you can go to any of those casinos or whatever the case may be and say, hey, look, do you want to get in on this NIL thing? Can you donate $100,000? Now, I think the reason they didn't do that is because they are afraid of gambling. They don't. It's so odd because they don't want to be in bed with the hotels. I don't know that to be true. But I just think there's more to it than just why they won't go to those people. Because the money is definitely in Vegas. It's definitely in Vegas. So here's the thing about Matthew Sluka. Because people, now at least the national media are understanding what's going on. But there are some teammates who have come out that are mad at him. Think about this from this perspective. Because one of the teammates was upset because Sluka abandoned his team. It's no different than a kid deciding not to play in a meaningless bowl game because he has the potential to go in the draft. Why would he play in a meaningless bowl game and take the risk? And we've seen that happen to a couple of people. As a matter of fact, since you think I'm kidding, let's do our weekly online search. Let's see here. What query should I use? Okay, girls and boys, here we go. College NFL prospects injured in bowl games. So, what I simply did is, let's see if it has let's see, how many college players I played in the bowl game. So, let's see, skipping goes. I was hoping that there would be a database so all this is doing is going through and saying the kids who had skipped bowl games last football season. Excuse me. But I was hoping there would be a database so I can go through and show you that a lot of these kids, and look, and this list of people that I'm seeing now, these are kids that decided to skip bowl games because they were going to the NFL. I don't see anything wrong with that. So, more importantly, you got to understand now, college football is a job. Okay? It's always been a job, but it's really a job now. Because some of these guys are making buku money. Let me say that again. Buku money. It's a job. I would be curious to see what attendance they have. Man, think of the money that these guys are making now. It's a job, folks. So these guys are getting paid to play football, which is what they should have been doing all along. Not hating on that at all, because I was an advocate of that. Still am. But now you got to get some rules in place. Somebody's got to start signing contracts, because if you tell a kid that he's going to get $100,000 and he doesn't, who's liable for that? Okay? Who's liable for that? Stop blaming this young man. Those of you who are mad, and those of you who are mad that because the teammate that came out and said he was upset because he abandoned the team. No, he didn't. He's looking out for his own best interest. You would too as well. I don't know if you're getting NIL money. I hope you are. Are they paying you the correct amount? And by the way, is this NIL money just for the regular season? Because now you've got bowls. You got a playoff. You see what I'm saying? What if a kid decides, hey, look, you know what? We're not going to win a national championship anyway. I don't want to go to the playoffs. I'm going to sit out and worry about my future in the NFL. You see why there's a contract that needs to be signed? And there needs to be a minimum. And as far as I'm concerned, every scholarship player should have a contract. Well, let me take that back. If you are a kid on that team, walk on, whatever, you should be getting some type of aid. You should be getting some type of aid at this point. These colleges are making too much money. So I'm not mad at Matthew Sluka. He did what he was supposed to do. Look out for his own best interest. And anyone who doesn't want him to do that, then you a butthole. Excuse my French. Well, college is not going to be the way it used to be. You still watching, aren't you? Let me ask you something. I bet tonight you're going to watch that Alabama-Georgia game. Aren't you? Razorback fans, they're going to watch. They're going to watch that team tonight. They're playing Texas A&M. Well, actually, that game is at noon today. So this thing, well, college football is not going anywhere. It just changed. And these players, here's my thing. Number one, these guys have got to get a union. Do not let the colleges and the politicians draw up a contract without you being collectively bargained. You have got to get a union. Because what's going to happen here in the next year or so, these colleges, they're already going to politicians now saying help, help, help. And I know they're throwing money into their campaigns. So the main thing that can help college players right now is that you've got to get a union. And you've got to be collectively bargained. And that means that, and see, that way, if everyone is in that union, then guess what happens? Everybody on that team is going to get some type of aid. Whether you get, look, when I say aid, I mean just tuition for school. That guy is never going to play, but he's on the practice team, or he's the walk-on, he should get aid. He's out there running sprints just like everybody else. He's out there running, he's being a tackling dummy just like most of these other kids. He's running scout team and doing all those other things. So why shouldn't he get some aid? That's just the bottom line on it. But before they can do anything and be taken serious, they have got to get this thing set up where there's a union. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They've got to have someone at the table collectively bargaining for the college players. And that should include health care beyond their tenure at that university. Yeah, I said it. See, that's the one thing that nobody is talking about. You've heard me talk a lot. I sit here with 8 titanium screws and 4 hinges in my neck. Issues of walking now at 63 years old because I was playing for the team, for the glory. Okay? That's why collective bargaining is important. College football has entered into a whole different realm now. And you are now playing in the big boys. So what colleges are doing now, these colleges and universities, they are simply now trying to beat you to the punch by running to the politicians so politicians will write law. They're still not looking out for your best interest as a player. They are simply deciding that, hey, we're going to try to maintain our status quo as much as we can. So we need to get politicians to write law for us so that we can still make this money and give those players the minimum. Who's representing the players? These players may have an individual agent here and there, but that's it. Number one, before you deal with an NIL deal, you need to get something in writing. This handshake, a wink and a nod, ain't working. Matthew Sluka, this situation has proven that. Now, the problem with UNLV is that they're gonna have some recruiting problems. Okay? They're going to have some recruiting problems because now it's kind of like how coaches use negative things about a university against that university when they're recruiting. Here's the one thing that they used to do to Arkansas. You don't want to go up there to Arkansas. See, I know this because I've talked to coaches And there was one coach who relayed to me that there used to be a white supremacist sign going into Harrison, Arkansas, up near Fayetteville. And he would always show his recruits that sign. He said, you don't need to go to Arkansas. Them folks up there are rednecks. They're racist. They don't like black kids. Well, you might say, well, they got black kids playing on the team, but it's not a comfortable place for a black kid to go. Coaches do that. So what's going to happen with that UNLV is that, hey, man, you heard about Matthew Sluka, didn't you? You say, I'm the recruiter, that's the kid. Did you hear about Matthew, man? Matthew who? Odds are those kids. And, he may have heard of him. Yeah, I heard, kid from UNLV. Oh, yeah, I heard about him. They promised him $100,000. Now, I know you're thinking about going, but what makes you think you're going to be different from him? You just got to put that little doubt in his mind. So people and recruiters are going to use this against UNLV on a regular basis. They done shot themselves in the foot when it comes to NIL, because if you're an athlete out there and you want to play, only way you get to UNLV at this point is that's your last resort. And people who are handling you should be smart enough, at least be in the news enough to know that, oh yeah, this is the school that did that other guy like this. Okay, if you're going to go, then you need to make sure that you get it in writing. Okay? That's the thing about this. That's the thing about this. All right, so we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this, because what happens now because I brought up the playoffs and the bowl games. This is why it needs to be collective bargaining. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com.
Ladies, are you looking for high quality, natural products for your skin and soul? Skintentional is for you. We feature handcrafted, luxurious, natural baths and body care products. At Skintentional, we firmly believe that self-care should be an intentional and enjoyable experience. We strive to infuse every product with a sense of fun and purpose. Crafting each item with love and care, we take pride in selecting only the finest natural ingredients. From luscious shea butter to revitalizing essential oils, every element is carefully chosen to protect, restore, and enhance your skin's natural beauty. We provide skincare specifically with you in mind. Try our soaps, scrubs, and facial oils for children and adults. Skintentional has something for the whole family, including the man in your life. Self-care should be an intentional and joyous experience for all. Go to skintentional.com right now for great discounts and begin experiencing what skincare products should be.
Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at RealRub.com. Holman's Dynamic Pepper Juice is lighting fires around the country. It's the new product from RealRub.com. Use it on meats and vegetables. Add it to your gumbos and greens for an extra punch. Made with all natural ingredients, Coleman's Dynamic Pepper Juice will enhance the flavors of your favorite recipes. Order today on RibRub.com. And while there, be sure to check out some of our other great products. It's developed with love and care using the best all-natural ingredients with no GMOs or preservatives. From snacks to seasonings, Coleman's Dynamic Products has something for everyone. Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at RealRub.com.
LeBron James is the greatest player we've seen this generation. You have to be careful when you start saying, and so, well, he wasn't as good as Michael, or he wasn't as good as Magic. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard, or you even walk by his yard, he's on the porch, and he's got that little crooked finger. He's like, get off my lawn! Get off my lawn! Join me Saturday mornings at 8 for the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com. Get off my lawn!
All right, welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com, talking this morning a little bit about Matthew Sluka. And those of you who are parents, you need to be abreast of this. And what I mean, those of you who have athletic parents, because right now NIL is affecting every aspect of college athletics. So you might have a superstar basketball player or a superstar volleyball player. If they're getting NIL, these athletes need to be collectively bargained. I brought that up last hour. They need to be in a union. These schools cannot be trusted. So you need to start paying attention to NIL and how this is going to play out going forward. Because right now, it's a wild, wild west out there. Wild, wild west. So how can you handle this? I mentioned about being collectively bargained. Getting it in writing. Getting a credible agent. Someone who knows what they're doing. Now, here's the other thing that I thought about. Let's see. These schools are playing 12 games. You go through the playoffs, so potentially you could play up to 15, 16 games if I'm correct. Now, I'm talking about the ones that make the college football playoffs. You know, that's new, the 12-team playoff. Do they get a bonus for that? That NIL money, is it just for the regular season? Or is it for bowl games and playoffs? Do I get an incentive if we make the playoffs? Hello? Do I get an incentive if we get to the bowl games? Will I lose money if I decide to sit out of the bowl game because I want to prepare for the NFL? How does that work? Right now, nobody knows. You see how interesting this is? This is a can of worms. Now, again, I'm going to say it again. I'm not upset about these players being paid, but I just know these colleges. The NCAA stole millions of dollars from black athletes over the since black kids started playing in the NCAA. Okay? Millions. A lot of heartache, a lot of pain. Many didn't graduate. So the NCAA cannot be trusted to look out for the best interest of these athletes. There needs to be a third party. There has got to be a third party. Because at the end of the day, these young men need to be taken care of because they are supporting all kinds of things that are going on that campus. You tell me one science hall that has created $1 billion for that university. Hello? Pick one school around the country. Their science program or their doctorate program, whatever program that they have, which one has generated over $1 billion? I'll wait. That's just recently. I'd be curious to know how much money has the NCAA earned, let's say in the last 25 years. I'm sure there's some data out there to back that up, whatever that number is. Don't even feel like looking it up because you understand my point. Is that the NCAA has made billions off of the backs of black kids. And hid under the guise of their amateur athletes when they knew all along that they were not amateur based on the monies that they were earning for those colleges and universities. But they built that lie, and unfortunately they were able to convince many of you that they were amateurs. And you close your eyes to the billions that your local college and university was earning because in your eyes, it was for the team. They use you and they use these players. So I don't trust them. And neither should these players. Neither should these players. They don't care about you. So it goes back to my question at the beginning of this segment. If it's a bowl game, do I get compensated for that? By the way, is this NIL for just the regular season, or does that extend into the bowl season or the college playoffs? And if we make the college playoffs, do I get a bump in pay? Because I'm going to be totally honest with you. If I'm a senior or a junior potentially getting ready to go in the NFL and I don't get a bump, it's just like when these teams go to the playoffs in the NFL, they get playoff money. Did y'all know that? Yeah, they get playoff money. You think I'm kidding? Okay. I'm going to do a live lookup again. Okay. How much money does each...
Here's the definition of okay. Informal.
Okay.
Used to express
all right,
assent.
we don't want to... Okay. How much money does each Super Bowl team earn? Let me see if that comes up. Okay. The latest collective bargaining agreement began between the NFL Players Association and the NFL dictates that each member of the winning team will receive $164,000, a $7,000 bump over last year's total. The winners of the Super Bowl in 2025 will receive $171,000. So that means every man on that roster will receive $171,000 for winning the Super Bowl. That's just winning the Super Bowl. They also get a stipend for going to the playoffs. Plus, many of those teams, many of those players have built-in incentives in their contracts. Look, let's stop this mess. College football is semi-pro now. And because it's semi-pro, then it needs to be treated like a professional business, in which it is. It always has been. It's just now that you all are coming to the realization, and that's what it is. And when it comes to these players, they need to be taken care of. Not just financially, but not to the point where they're being used by these colleges and these agents. That's what needs to be done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So as you watch college football, as you watch this Alabama-Georgia game tonight, makes you wonder how much they're being paid. What was this school? Oh, it was Colorado, who put a QR code on the back of the helmets, so you could scan it and then go out and make a donation to the NIL fund. Yeah, that's what it's come down to now. That's what it's come down to. These players deserve a piece of the pie. And it needs to be more consistent. And it needs to be collectively bargained. It's to the point now, yeah, you can have different agents, but they all should have a minimum standard on what can and cannot be done, what should and should not be done, what schools can and cannot do to these players. That includes practice time, enough time to study, whatever the case may be. College is semi-pro now, folks. The sooner you get with the program, then you begin to understand what I'm talking about. And these players need to understand this as well. I'm not mad at Matthew Sluka. You promised the young man $100,000 and you didn't deliver. If your job said, hey, I'm going to fly you to New York, and when you get to New York, I'm going to put you up in a penthouse, and I'm going to take care of all your bills. And when you get there, you go to the penthouse, and before they'll let you in, you got to sign a document saying that you're responsible. You say, well, wait a minute, this is on the company. Well, we need you responsible in case the company, no, this is on the company. What are you going to do? You're going to get back. If you have common sense, you're going to pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, what's going on? And they say, oh, well, we forgot, but can you go ahead and take care of it? Hell no. You're going to get your butt back on that plane and you're going home. And that's what Matthew Sluka did. I ain't mad at him at all. Welcome to the new college football arena. If you don't have the money, don't recruit these players. Stop lying to these players. All right, top of the hour. Back in a moment. Here's what we're talking about next hour. We're going to go over our picks from last week. I'm going to tell you where I am as far as the picks are concerned. I'm going to tell you how you can win a dynamic gift box. And then I'm going to talk a little more college football. I got to say a little something, do some observations, do some top 25. We also do the NFL and college football observations. First half of the hour, we'll do college football and the observations there to make the picks then. Then the rest of the hour, we'll do NFL and make the observations there. Does that work for you? Works for me. Hang 10, back in a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com.
It's time for the weekly sports page with the dynamic David Coleman. Stay tuned for thrills, chills, and yes, spills. Oh yeah, and a whole lot of other great stuff. Call 855-525-5683. Tweet your questions at Dynamic Sports PA or Facebook. Drop a line on Dynamic Weekly Sports Show. Sit back, relax, and groove while Dynamic drops sports in your ear hole.
Nebraska wins the game on the final play of the contest. Oh, baby! How about that? Jacked up indeed.
Are you kidding me?
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow!
Now here's Dynamic David Coleman.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com. Here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. So make sure you check us out, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you tell a friend, tell everybody that this guy's on the radio talking sports with common sense. We do this every Saturday. Also, don't forget to support our sponsors, and particularly there's a sale going on with ribrub.com. But this is a direct sale. If you are listening to the show right now, you're going to get a heads up on where you can go and purchase a dynamic gift box. What is a dynamic gift box? It has all of my products in it. It has rib rub, 3 bags of rib rub, 3 bags of rib nuts, okay? It has fry dust. It has rib juice. It has, oh God, I'm going blank here. It has fried dust. It has all kinds of stuff in there. Did I say pepper juice as well? Yeah, it has all of my stuff in there. So you can get original or hot and spicy, scorching, or if you want to just try them all, you can get a combo box with each one in there. So make sure you click on the links below under this show, and it'll take you right there where you can make an order. They're on sale. I'm telling you, they're going up in a week. So, not to put pressure on you, but go ahead and do this. Christmas is right around the corner. Go ahead and order now. I'm going to tell you, we got slammed last year. You know, some of you all ordered late and didn't get your boxes. I apologized profusely, but it was your fault. We don't want to go through that this year. Order early, okay? Order early. All right. So, by the way, just want to quickly talk a little bit about baseball. I told you I would. Phillies. They have basically clinched the division. So has Milwaukee, the Dodgers. San Diego is, they clinched the wild card that is in the National League. It's still yet to be determined as far as who the other wild card team will be, whether it be the Braves or the Mets. We'll find it out here in the next couple of days as it relates to that. Also, as far as the American League, Houston has clinched. You've got Cleveland, also the Yankees. Baltimore gets the wild card, so that's how Major League Baseball stands up. We'll get into more of that as we get along, by the way. Baseball season is just about over, but the playoffs will soon to be starting. And, of course, guess what? The World Series. All right. When you watch it, You know, I'm not a big baseball fan the way I used to, but I do watch. Okay, so this hour we're gonna do our dynamic power picks. Okay, and we'll do those here in just a moment. But I want to talk a little bit about last week. You know, I had my dauber down last week, okay? I did. It was down. I told you last week that last week was the worst week I had ever had in picking games. Ever. My total at the end of last week was 8-17. 8-17, bro. And I was laughing at you and I was laughing at myself because, you know, I don't put money on these games. I pick for fun. But as I tell you every week that if you play me and you beat me, I pick 6 games, 6 pros and 6 college games. 12 games a week. If you beat me that week, guess what? I'm going to send you a Coleman's Dynamic gift box. One of those things I just described, I'm going to send you one. So far, I've only given out 3 in the last 4 years. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not popular. But I was 8-17 at the end of last week. My dauber was down. And then last week, because, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, I've been around this business for a long time. And if you're going to gamble, then number one, don't ever gamble money that you can't afford. Number two, you got to understand that you got to be in this thing for the long haul if you're going to make some money. Breaking even is a good thing because that means you don't lose any money. Okay? So last week, Tennessee was a winner. Well, no, that's not the right one. Yeah, it is. Tennessee was a winner. USC was a loser. Arkansas was a loser. And Baylor was a loser because of a last second Hail Mary by Shadir Sanders. Okay? And then Vanderbilt was a winner for me. Now again, we picked against the spread. So in college last week, I was 3-3. Okay? In the pros, Steelers was a winner. Browns was a winner. Again, we picked against the spread. The Giants was a winner. Let's see. The Raiders, my boys, were a loser that hurt me. The Ravens was a winner. Chiefs and Seahawks, all winners. So I was 5-1. Had my Raiders won, which still I'm shocked over that, I would have been 6-0 in the pros last weekend. So going into the week, I was 8-17. 3-3 in college. And 5-1 in the pros. So that made me what? 8-4, which brought my total from 8-17 to 16-21. Yeah, baby, I'm closing on it. So now, last week I was 9 games under 500. I'm now 5 games under 500. It's like the stock market. You got to be in for the long haul. We're going to pick some games this week as well. We're going to get back on that horse. I hope you win. If you're betting money, just be careful. Okay? Just be careful. All right? So let me just quickly look at the college football top 25. Do y'all mind? I'm going to look at that, give y'all what's up, the rankings and so on and so forth. Right now, as I've said over and over again, particularly now that we've got this new college football format where you get this 12-team thing, I don't think they even need to start ranking until the 4th week. So right now, we are in the 5th week? So I think we can start. We got a good barometer of where teams are. So in the AP top 25, I'll go from 25 down. Boise State, Texas A&M, Kansas State, BYU, Oklahoma State, Illinois, Iowa State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Louisville. That's a big game. Notre Dame and Louisville playing this weekend, by the way. LSU, USC, Michigan, Missouri. That's the top the bottom 15, and here's the top 10. Utah is 10. Penn State 9, Oregon 8, Miami is 7, Ole Miss is 6, Tennessee 5, Alabama 4, Ohio State 3, Georgia 2, and Texas 1. So in the top 10 alone, you've got 5 SEC schools being represented. The big game today, as far as I'm concerned, is Georgia and Alabama. I want to talk a little bit about that. Okay? And then we're going to do some picks for college. All right? In fact, we'll save all the picks until the last segment. So just hang on. It'll be about 10 till. So, I want to talk a little bit about Georgia, Alabama. Of course, Nick Saban is no longer at Alabama. Everybody's wondering how all that's going to play out. We don't really know. But here's what we do know, that many of the kids that are at Alabama today were recruited by Nick Saban and his crew. So you got to believe that they recruited some heck of a players. Georgia, by the way, let's not forget about Jalen Milroe. They don't want to talk about him, but I think he's going to make the difference. He certainly did in the college football championship game. They weren't prepared. Georgia wasn't prepared for Jalen Milroe running the football. Okay? So, what's going to happen? Kirby Smart needs to beat Alabama. The problem with Georgia is that they've graduated a whole lot of people the last 2 years. Are they good enough to reload the way Alabama does or has done over the last few years? Shoot, it's always somebody new. Who is that? Who is that defensive tackle? Who is that running back? Who is that wide receiver? What's his name? I mean, they're just pumping them out in Alabama left and right. The question is Georgia doing that? And my question, I don't know that they are. I don't know that they are, man. They have looked lackluster. They struggled against Kentucky, which shocked everybody, including myself. They got a tough schedule. I mean, right now, if I'm Georgia, am I concerned? Right now, okay, let's compare the core. Carson Beck, you think he's better than Jalen Milroe? I don't think that he is. I'm going to be honest with you. And, they're already talking about where people are going to go in the top 10 as it relates to the draft. Is Beck one of those guys? When you think about Beck, do you think about him being a top prospect and leading an NFL team? See, here's what a lot of people don't understand. That a lot of these quarterbacks who play in these systems are created by that system and the talent around them. Okay? Some of them rise above it, but a lot of them don't. I don't know that Carson Beck is one of those that will rise above it. And the way he's been playing and the numbers that he's put up, I'm going to tell you, that's kind of suspect to me right now, folks. It really is. It really is. So, I am picking that game. I won't tell you what I'm going to pick right now. But I am picking that game today. I will tell you, and let me go ahead and tell you, I'm picking Arkansas, Texas A&M, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Illinois, Penn State, Georgia, Alabama, Wisconsin, USC, and Colorado and UCF. In the pros, I'm picking Bengals, Panthers, Vikes, Packers, Eagles, Bucks, Commanders, Cards, Kansas City, Chargers, and Bills, Ravens. Okay? That's what I'm picking. That's what I'm picking. So this game ought to be a good game. But based on the way Georgia has played, I don't know that I can pick Georgia. Now, I don't mean to give away too much of what my pick is going to be, but I don't know that I can pick Georgia at this point. I just don't know. Couple of other interesting games that are going to take place today. I'm also picking this game. Look, before I do that, let me go ahead and take my hats off to Arkansas, because those of you who are in the DMV may not know that I'm from Arkansas. So I'm a Razorback fan, I guess, by blood. Frank Pillow, who used to play for the Tampa Bay Bucks and played for Buffalo, by the way, a friend of mine, he posted, show you how old I am, he posted that he caught a pass in the pros from Joe Ferguson and played with OJ. And I posted that I actually sold hot dogs at Joe Ferguson's college games in Little Rock. So, that's a side note. But some other interesting games today that I want to look into. And we're going to pick those games. But I wanted to give a shout out to Arkansas. I'm sorry, I got carried away there. I want to give them a shout out because I didn't expect them to beat Auburn. I just didn't. Didn't see that one coming. I'm not sold on the Razorbacks as of yet, but that's just me. But I'm not sold on them. The other game that I found was interesting, and just going back to last week, was Colorado and Baylor. I picked that game as well. Was a little surprised at the outcome. Colorado ends up winning the game. Shadir Sanders had over 400 yards passing, just was a beast. Travis Hunter was a beast. Many people believe right now that Hunter, look, right now, if I have to make, I know they've made this award into a quarterback award, which is a bunch of crap. But if I had to pick right now, I would argue that Travis Hunter is the best player in the country. Now, will he get the recognition he deserves by getting the Heisman? We'll see. We'll see. But Colorado is interesting. I'm picking them this week as well. They are playing UCF on the road. UCF has this dynamic running back that is probably going to run rings around him. So we'll see how that plays out. So I'm picking that game. So my iPad has frozen for some reason. Don't know what's going on here. But I want to look at the top 25 real fast because I want to look at and see what are some of the other interesting games. I've already told you the games that I'm picking this week. I don't know what's going on here. This always does me this way. All right, so let's do it another way. Wonders of modern technology. So, looking at some of the other games that are happening, let's see here. I talked a little bit about Illinois I haven't talked about it, but Illinois and Penn State is another interesting game. I'm picking that game too. That's weird. Illinois it's just surprising that Illinois is doing anything. But I am picking that game. Some of the other games, somebody said Washington may need to be on an upset watch. They're going to Rutgers. Let's see. Let me pull up the top 25 here. and see where we are with that. Okay, so Oklahoma State, Michigan, and Minnesota. Kentucky and at Ole Miss. I expect Kentucky to blow them out on that. Another interesting game is Louisville at Notre Dame. Notre Dame has already lost the game. By the way, they are favored by 7 at home. Louisville is 15th, Notre Dame is 16th. If Notre Dame wants to get into the college football playoffs, that's a must win for them. Okay. Oklahoma at Auburn. Wisconsin at USC. Did I pick? I think I did. I picked Wisconsin. I picked that game as well. We'll get into that. Let's see any other interesting games in the top 25. Of course, we talked a little bit about Alabama and Georgia. South Alabama travels to LSU. I bring that up simply because wasn't it South Alabama that Alabama had some problems with last week? So we'll see how that plays out. So those are a couple of games that are going on this week, okay, that you can pay attention to. And I didn't shy away from any of them. I typically don't do that. I'll pick the big games. And there are some interesting top 25 games. Now let me give you a quick rundown on what's happening in the SEC. It's still amazing that these conferences have split like this. Goes back to what I was saying about the kid at UNLV. All right, so here's the SEC schedule. Kentucky at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 17.5-point favorite. Arkansas at Texas A&M. A&M is a 5.5-point favorite. I picked that game. Oklahoma at Auburn. Auburn is a 1.5-point favorite at Jordan-Hare. I don't know. If I was picking that game, I'd pick Oklahoma. Mississippi State at Texas. Texas look like they're the cream of the crop. If Jalen Miro has a heck of a game this afternoon, does he vault to the head of the class? Because Quentin Ewers, he's okay, but I'm not sold on him. I'm thinking Raiders now. I want him. I want Milroe. Anyway, we talked about Alabama and Georgia and South Alabama and LSU. So that's the SEC slate for today. Okay? So, I want to talk a little bit about Colorado. And then we'll take a break. This won't take long. I know y'all think I hate Deion. I don't hate him. I just don't like his coaching style. If they don't win today, is Deion done at Colorado? No, I'm not saying he's going to quit. But I don't see Colorado. I didn't pick them to be above 500. I heard a sports analyst say yesterday that he thinks they can get into a bowl game. Really? Well, let's just look that up. Because I ain't sold that Colorado could get into a bowl game. I'm not buying that one iota. Okay? It just ain't happening. So let's look at Colorado's schedule real fast. Y'all mind? So they are 3-1 as of right now. They go to UCF. They're 3-2 because I don't think they're going to win. Their Kansas State comes to town. They're 3-3 now. Arizona, at Arizona, they're 3-4. At Cincinnati, well, Cincinnati comes down. Let's give them 4-4. Texas Tech at Texas Tech, 4-5. Number 10, Utah comes to town, 4-6. Kansas, 4-7. And then they close out the season at Oklahoma State. Well, Oklahoma State comes to town, 4-8. If they're lucky, they're 5-7. Maybe. I can't even say they're 500. Sorry, Colorado fans. I know there are a lot of you all out there who love them. But do you love Colorado? Well, I actually love Colorado. I've had the opportunity to experience the Rocky Mountain High that John Denver sang about so often. Or do you love Dion? We'll take a break. When we come back, our NFL observations, and then we'll do our picks. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com.
Hey, beautiful. You look gorgeous. Are you doing something different? There's a healthy glow about you.
Thanks. I'm just my natural self.
Come on. What's your secret?
Okay. Since I found SkinTentional.com, I've been getting a lot of those comments.
SkinTentional.com?
Yes, SkinTentional.com is handcrafted, luxurious natural baths and body care products. Crafted for those with a designer's taste for high-quality skincare products but won't break your bank. From body butter to oils and soaps, SkinTentional has something for everyone, including the man in your life. Get your man some beard balm and oils. And yes, they offer body butters and soap for him as well, without making him smell like flowers. Go to SkinTentional.com and check out their amazing products. They believe self-care should be an intentional and joyous experience for all. SkinTentional.com.
Business owner, can I talk to you for a moment? How many people have come up to you and said, hey, I didn't know you had a business? Yeah, that can happen when you don't advertise. I have a solution for you. Advertise on JoyNetRadio.com and let the world know that you're in business. I know what you're thinking. Advertising is so expensive. I've got a great package for you that will cut your expense and increase your bottom line. It's only $125 for startup and new businesses. Call me, David W. Coleman, at 615-554-0568, and I'll put together a package specifically for your business. Now is the time to tell the world, hey, I'm in business. Come spend your money on quality goods in my store. Let us help you at JoyNetRadio.com. Here's the number. Call me, 615-554-0568. We are here to assist you in building your brand. Coleman's Dynamic Products would like to thank you for all the support you've given us over the years. Our growth could not have happened without your purchases and word of mouth to your friends and family. That says you believe and trust us to provide Coleman's Dynamic Products with no fillers and all natural ingredients. We began with our flagship product, Rib Rub, and now it has expanded into snacks, seasonings, salts, rib juice, and pepper juice. We could not have done it without you. I'm David W. Coleman, founder and president, and I want to personally thank you for the encouraging words and support. Coleman's Dynamic Products will continue to be the best dry marinades, seasonings, and sauces you've ever put in your mouth. That's ribrub.com, RIBBRUBB, and you know what we like to say, bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah.
All right, welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com. We're here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Make sure you check us out. Hit us up on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Well, we're not on Twitter yet. We're still might be getting we're thinking about it. Well, we won't. The show is not going to get a TikTok. But Coleman's Dynamic Products. Speaking of which, look right down there. Click if there's something on your screen that says more, click it. You should see some links. Those links are the direct sale to you. The only way you can get this is while watching this show. You get a discount. That's right, you're getting a discount. So check it out right now. Okay? hot and spicy, original, scorching, and combo. You get all my products. Rib juice, pepper juice, fry dust, rib dust. Okay? That's 4 items. Then you get 3 bags of your preferred rub, hot and spicy, original, and scorching. And you get 3 more bags of, so what is that? Wow. So that's 6. You get 10 items in that box for $29.95. Whoa. And you know what I'm going to do here? Just for you listening. Everyone that orders a dynamic gift box going forward, I'm going to give you a digitized Coleman's Dynamic Cookbook. How about that? Can't beat that with a stick. Okay, so let's talk a little NFL. Needless to say, 2 weeks ago, I was riding my Rocky Mountain high euphoria after the Raiders came here to Baltimore and beat the Baltimore Ravens. Hated it for Lamar, but I loved it for my Raiders, of course. You saw all my Raider regalia and my dress. Had a great time. And then they go home and they let Carolina come to town and beat the dog poop out of them. I don't know what to think. You had Antonio Pierce saying some people made business decisions. Many people are postulating that Adams may be out of there. He's not playing this week because of a hammy. In fact, a lot of the Raiders aren't playing this week. Crosby has a high ankle sprain. One of the cornerbacks are out. It's looking ugly. But you know what? I'm going to say it like this. I ain't mad. Here's why I'm not. Although it's a long season. We got about, 15 weeks to go? No, we got about 20 weeks to go or more. If you're going to tank Anthony, now's the time to do it. Okay? Now, if you're going to tank, I got a feeling that the best quarterback in the league, in college, is going to be Jalen Milroe. I just got a feeling. That's who we want. Okay? I'm sorry I made this personal. I try not to make my shows personal. But I'm a Raider fan. We need a quarterback. Let's forget it. Look, it's time to jettison what you got. Your quarterback room stinks. Yeah, I know you got to get through this year. I can suffer through this. I've suffered it long enough anyway. So I can continue to suffer through this. But we got to get a quarterback. I don't want you to go out in the middle of the year and trade for someone and then you stuck with him next year. If you're not going to do the things you need to do as far as winning is concerned, I don't want Adams to leave, but if he wants to leave, hit the door. If you can get a draft pick for him to build up the roster, go for it. Okay? Go for it. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that personal. Here's the other thing, man. Jalen Daniels is lighting the place up, and everybody's just loving him. And we kind of had this conversation last week when the Panthers benched Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud has ruined it for rookie quarterbacks. What C.J. Stroud did a year ago is rare. You can't really judge these quarterbacks early on when they're thrown to the fire. Mel Kiper got upset. I was listening to him earlier yesterday, and he got upset because he was asked the question of what the Titans should do about his boy, and he started coming up with all kinds of excuses why it wasn't his fault, the quarterback's fault. Okay? Because, he loved Will Levis. He was upset that Will Levis didn't go in the first round. Will Levis has a problem with decision making. You cannot be that kind of quarterback in the NFL. And by the way, the crew that's with the Titans now didn't draft him. This is their first year being here. So if he doesn't get it together, because the Titans should be 3-0 right now. Instead, what are they? They're 0-3. And if Levis doesn't get it together, he's going to be gone. Now, he may go somewhere else. And if you're the Raiders, we don't want him either. We don't want him. You say, well, what are you talking about? Here's my point. I want the Raiders to tank. I don't want you to be 8-11. Well, 8-9, 9-8. I don't want you to be none of that. I want you to tank. Because what the Raiders have got to start doing is planning for the future. And the future is maybe 2-3 years down the road. And in order to do that, you've got to get a quarterback. And you've got to get one that's going to be reliable, that's going to be there for the next 8 to 10 years. And right now, that's hard to predict, but you got to tank. You got to do it, man. You got to do it. So I say all that because I was talking about Jaden Daniels. He's looking good. Heard someone today or yesterday say that he believes the Washington Commanders can win the NFC East. They have no confidence in the Cowboys, and I really don't either. I'm not really to walk away from the Philadelphia Eagles. We know what the Giants are. But because of Jaden Daniels, many people are suggesting that it might be the Redskins who come out of the East. And the East, by the way, may end up being just a one playoff team league or division. So we'll see. Dallas got back on that horse. Don't know where they're going to end up. It's kind of scary, to be totally honest, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fans. They do this every year. The other thing I want to talk about as far as the NFL is concerned. Okay. Let's see if this is what I think it is. I want to talk about this. Because, I just talked, maybe 7-8 minutes about why it's important to have a quarterback. And we need one, we being the Raiders. But have you noticed what's happening in the league now? I say this all the time, and I go back with this because my coach, many of the coaches, when you're fundamentally sound, you're going to win a lot of football games. And there are some basic fundamentals in football. Blocking and tackling, that's a basic fundamental. Knew a coach who didn't throw the ball. He felt like the only thing that can happen, there are more things that can happen with throwing the ball than it can running the ball. So here's an example. If I throw the ball, there's a chance of it being incomplete. It's one thing. There's a chance for it to be intercepted. There's a chance for the team to be sacked. Okay? Speaking of interception, there's a chance for it to be sacked and fumbled, received and fumbled, and even a pick six. That's 6 things, just right off the top of my head. If you run the ball, some negative things can happen. Yeah, you can be tackled behind the line and you can fumble the ball, but that's it. So the percentages are that it's safer to run the ball than throw a pass. It's old school. Of course, the NFL now has went to this pass happy league. Everybody got to throw the ball. And the amazing thing about it is that when you look at these teams that are winning the championships, particularly the Kansas City Chiefs, who got them? They gave Patrick Mahomes all the credit last year, but it was that defense that got them where they needed to be. They're paying all these wide receivers all this big money. We got to be vertical. And come to find out, and I talked about this last week, that there are not a lot of deep passing going on. You know why? Because they're playing too deep safety. And if you're playing too deep safety, You're not supposed to allow anything to get by you or behind you. So you're not having a lot of deep passes. That's what Mel Kiper was complaining about. As far as I'm concerned, that's just tough. Too bad. That's defense. You can't penalize the defense for figuring out how to stop the offense. Just can't do that. So, at the end of the day, here's the bottom line here. What can you do? What can you do? Because as I look at this league now, and I just went blank. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. Oh, I know what it was. So, I was talking about running the ball. If you look at the league now, and I want to pull up these. Here are the top running backs for this year. Kenneth Walker for the Seattle Seahawks. He's had 20 carries, 103 yards. Okay. Jahmyr Gibbs, 40 carries, 207 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 51 carries, 206 yards, and 3 TDs. Breece Hall, 46 carries, 170 yards, 2 TDs, and David Montgomery, Detroit, 51 carries, 231 yards, 3 TDs. Saquon Barkley, Eagles, 63 carries, 351 yards, and 4 TDs. Kyron Williams, Rams, 54 carries, 164 yards, and 4 TDs. James Conner, the Cardinals, 46 carries, 189 yards, and 2 TDs. Number 2 is Derrick Henry, 56 carries, 281 yards, and 4 TDs. And number 1, Christian McCaffrey, 59 carries, 268 yards, 4 TDs. Now, what's my point? Here's my point, is the running backs are making the difference. Remember I said a few minutes ago, blocking and tackling and, that kind of stuff. Remember that? Well, that's important. But you also got to run the ball. Running the ball sets up the pass. That's where play action come in. You pound them, and boom, boom, play action, whoop, over the head, TD. That has been a lost art in football. But this year, in the NFL, if you notice, these running backs have been putting up some huge numbers. Part of it is that they don't tackle the way they used to. They've been putting up huge numbers. So, what do you think? It's really a trip to me. Welcome back, running backs. I'm glad to see it. See, I grew up in an era where not only did the running back, and I've said over and over again, excuse me, that the toughest man on the football field is the running back. Here's why. He runs the ball. He's being hit by a 300-pound Goliath. If he's a good running back, he goes out and pass for passes. He also pass protects. He does more on the field than anyone else. Yet he gets little respect. So I'm hoping this trend continues with the running backs in the NFL. I hope they continue to bust these records wide open, because that's where football is made, is between in the trenches. So I'm happy to see the running backs are getting a resurgence. That's the point. Okay. Tell you what, let's take our last break. When we come back, we'll make some picks. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on Joint Radio.
Hi, I'm David W. Coleman, host of Black Focus Radio and the weekly sports magazine. We here at joinnedradio.com would like to thank you for all the love and support you've given us. Our goal is to keep you inspired and informed daily with quality programming from gospel music, news, talk, and sports. Log on to joinnedradio.com for the program lineup, and while there, be sure to make a donation. Then download our app and carry us anywhere in the world. Please continue to spread the word about joinnedradio.com. And if you are an entrepreneur or have an upcoming event or you'd like to start a show, let the professional writers and producers here at joinnedradio.com help you get the word out. Call me at 615-554-0568 for more details. In the meantime, stay informed and inspired daily right here on joinnedradio.com.
David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and Rib Nuts. Go to ribrub.com, that's RIBBRUBB.com right now, and stock up on the best dry marinades for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats. 3 great flavors, hot and spicy, original, and scorching. Try them at your next cookout and you will shout, bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah! Only one place to get Coleman's Dynamic products, that's ribrub.com. Easy to order, and I'll ship direct to you or to friends and family anywhere in the United States. While on the site, be sure to check out other great items, especially the rib nuts. Who'd have thunk it? Peanuts sauteed in a barbecue marinade? That's just crazy good. Get them at ribrub.com right now, along with other great recipes. That's ribrub.com. If you don't like my rib rub or rib nuts, I'll give you money back. Do it today. That's Coleman's Dynamic Products at ribrub.com.
Listen.
Did you miss Dr. Ernest Gill from UT San Antonio?
When you're making $455 million off these student athletes, and all you can come up with is $5,000, John Calipari makes $8 million a year, and his players are going to get $5,000 a year. The majority of these teams were white men and white males and females. Would this be happening? And I would say no, because their families wouldn't let it happen. But we're letting our kids get pimped.
Join the weekly sports magazine every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on Join
All right, welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on joinnedradio.com. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me. If you would have liked to call me, but don't call me now because the show's just about over. I'm getting ready to do my picks, and I'm going to be out of here and enjoy my Saturday. Okay, I hope you'll enjoy your Saturday as well. So, I'm going to start with the college picks. As I told you, I'm crowing a little bit. I was, I was 8-4. Is that right? Yeah, 8-4 last week. That makes my total to 16-21. It was pretty bad up until this week, so I've gotten back on that horse. You'll see my picks here in just a moment. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the games, and let's go ahead and make some picks. Let's start with college. Okay? We're going to start with college. Now, Arkansas at Texas A&M. I may be just a foolish dreamer, but I don't care. I know my happiness is waiting for me out there. Now, you're probably saying, now, Dave, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not sold on Arkansas. I made the mistake and picked Auburn. I don't know that Texas A&M is that great of a team this year. Arkansas on the road, my common sense should tell me to pick Texas A&M, but I can't. By the way, let me find out, because I know, is it this year or next year that Arkansas and A&M is going to Dallas, is that the trip to Dallas is over. Because, and here's why I'm bringing it up. Those of you who are not Arkansas fans, Arkansas has been long not wanting to play games in Little Rock. And it's been a huge contention for Razorback fans in Little Rock. Okay? So their argument was, we lose money when we go and play in Little Rock. So then someone brought up the argument. So yeah, this game is being played at Arlington. So this is a neutral field. So the line right now is 5.5. I'm going to take. The argument was. Let me get back to that. The argument was, well, if you're losing money in Little Rock, you're losing money in going to Arlington every year too, because you got to pay for a lot of stuff. So I don't know what Jerry Jones is kicking out to them, but that was the argument. So I think this is the last year of that agreement between Texas A&M and Arkansas in Dallas. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I say all that to say that I'm going to take the Razorbacks and the 5.5. Okay? Razorbacks and 5.5. Kansas State travels to Oklahoma State. I can't really get my arms around Oklahoma State. Kansas State has looked pretty solid over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to take Kansas State and the 5. Remember, we pick against the spread. Illinois travels to Pennsylvania to play Penn State. Penn State is an 18-point favorite. Illinois has surprised a lot of people, myself included. I wanted to pick them last week, but I didn't. I'm going to pick them this week. I don't know if they're going to win, but I'm going to pick them to cover. 18 is a big number. I think Illinois is a pretty good team. And look, I covered James Franklin when he played when he coached at Vanderbilt. Not a big James Franklin fan. Of course, Penn State always has a good run and then they stumble and lose to someone. I think this could be that game. This is a Big Ten game, by the way, Coach. Illinois and Penn State in the Big Ten. So I'm going to take Illinois in the 18. Okay, I'm going to save the Georgia-Alabama game for last. Wisconsin versus USC. Wisconsin is not as good as I thought they were going to be, and USC is a lot better than what I thought they were going to be. 14.5 points are a lot of points, but Wisconsin is going on the road. They're playing at USC. USC is in the hunt. If they want to stay in the hunt, they've got to beat Wisconsin, because you got to know it's going to come down, certainly right now, to Michigan, who has surprised everybody with the run that they've been on because they lost so many players, and then Ohio State. So if you're USC, you've got to keep pace with those guys and say you belong in the Big Ten. You've got to beat Wisconsin. 14.5 at the time of print. That seems awful big to me as well. But we'll see. I'm going to take Wisconsin. I'm surprised you didn't. I'm going to regret that one. I just think I am. I'm going to regret it. And they're on the road too. You know what? I think I'm going to change that. I'm going to take USC. Well, no. I'm taking Wisconsin to cover. Okay? I'm taking Wisconsin and the plus 14. Colorado at UCF. UCF is a 14-point favorite. That's a scary one. Man, we know Shadir Sanders and Travis Hunter is going to be a problem, but UCF is the real deal. I think 14 is a lot of points. Believe it or not, I'm taking Colorado in the points. I think UCF wins the game, but I think it's going to be closer than 14 points because I think, Shadir Sanders is going to be running everywhere, but I think it's going to be closer than 14 points. I think they cover late, Colorado. Okay, so that's college. That's Arkansas, Kansas State, Illinois. Oh, one other. Georgia and Alabama. Alabama is a 1-point underdog. Is that right? Let me double check that. Wow. Wait a minute, y'all crazy. And yeah, Alabama's a 1-point dog at home. Look, I'm not sold on Carson Beck. Yeah, he was an heir apparent. A great quarterback to me operates even when there's minimal talent. Okay? Beck hasn't shown me that he's able to do that as of yet. Not sold on him. I think Jalen Miro is going to have a coming out party. And again, as I asked the question earlier, is Georgia one of those schools where they can just keep cranking people in and out the way Alabama? Alabama is the only school that can do that on a year in, a year out basis. Now, we'll find out now that Saban is gone if that continues. If Coach DeBoer can continue to do that. But right now, all those kids that were playing last year for Alabama, they're playing this year. Georgia, on the other hand, had a lot of kids to graduate. I'm taking Alabama plus the 1. Okay? So that's college. Now let's talk a little pros. Let's talk some pros, man. So, first game on the agenda, the Bengals at the Panthers. Bengals have looked terrible. They are 0-3. They desperately need a win. Can they get it against the Panthers? The Panthers go out last week to Las Vegas and light the Raiders up, which shocked the world. The question is, can Joe Burrow rally the troops? We talk a lot about Joe Burrow. He has a great release, this, that, and the other. Of course, a lot of people are thrilled that, he beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. But I think they can beat the Panthers. They are a 7.5-point dog at home. I'm taking the Bengals. Vikings and the Packers. That might be one of the better games of the year. The Vikings travel to Green Bay. Of course, I wonder. Packers are a 2.5-point favorite. Will Love play? We don't know. We'll see. Right now, I'm taking the Vikings. The Vikings seem to be on a mission. They're going to lose eventually, but I think they're going to go into Green Bay and beat the Packers. Eagles versus the Bucks. The Bucks are a 1-point dog at home. Nick Sirianni comes out last week and makes this statement that no one knows what he was making. He doesn't even know either. There's been dissension in the clubhouse, yada, yada, yada. Is the Bucks for real? They're playing at home, but they're a 1-point dog. I got to say it like this. Eagles got some talent. The question is, can the coach the talent? Be that as it may, I'm taking the Eagles plus the 1. Crusaders versus the Cards. Yeah, I know everybody's over loving Jalen Daniels. They love him. Oh, Daniels this, Daniels that. Going across country to the Cardinals. Cardinals is not a bad team. They played pretty decently. They're a 3.5-point favorite at home. I'm taking the Cardinals. Not ready to get on the Daniels bandwagon yet, although I loved him at LSU. In fact, we'll get a chance to see him. My son and I, we're planning to go see the Titans and the Redskins later on in the year. It's somewhere in December. It's going to be a cold one. Okay. Chiefs and the Chargers. Chargers are a 7-point dog right now. I don't think the Chargers are ready. I know y'all want to hype them up because of Harbaugh, but right now I think the Chiefs are on a mission. They're not going to lose against the Chargers on Sunday. Even though it's on the road, I'm taking the Chiefs and the 7. Last but not least, the Buffalo Bills and the Ravens. It's a Sunday night affair. Ought to be a great game. The reigning MVP versus the projected MVP. At least that's what many people are suggesting, that Allen is going. He's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP. They want to hype this guy so bad. Can he come to Baltimore and beat the Ravens? I don't know that he can. Ravens are a 2.5-point favorite at home. I'm going to take the Ravens. Okay. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let me give you a quick pick. I'm taking Arkansas, Kansas State, Illinois, Alabama, Wisconsin, and Colorado in college. I'm taking the Bengals, the Vikings, the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Chiefs, and the Ravens in pros. That's 6 games. You beat me. Post your games on my wall, the Weekly Sports Magazine, on my personal wall. If you beat me, I'll send you a Coleman's down in the gift box. I hope you have a great weekend, have a great Saturday, and enjoy the games. I'm going to. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Sports Page with Dynamic David Coleman.
On Dice Rights Ice Cream Alert 654 Jose. Okay, 1-0.
Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10.
Check it. Brown Richmond 96 double. 96 double. Check. Oh, what a player. What a player.
Until next week.